So I want to share also about the a bit more about Singapore housing system. Why it's designed this way? Because why is there a cat? Meow. Anyway, the Singapore have this philosophy that everybody must have a stake in the country. That's why you will work hard, and that's why you will defend and protect your country. I think that's what we are seeing the difference between the all this rioting in European countries where maybe these people do not have their own house. They don't have something to fight for, and this is why they are willing to burn away other people's cars, burn other people's shops, loot other people's shops because you have nothing. But in Singapore, it's different. The Singapore government, the poorer you are, the bigger the grant it is. They make sure that everybody can afford their house as long as you are married. And if you're not married, you have to wait until 35 years old to buy your government your government house. So once you get a house, then you will pay for it over 20, 30 years. But you have your own house, you have your own place, and then you have a foundation to build your life on. And then that's probably why you will not go and screw things up unnecessarily to go riot and everything. Like in Singapore, there's no riot. We don't do riots. When riot happen, it's like a super big news. It's like, what? Like, why would Singapore have riots? No, we don't believe in riots. We don't believe in marches and protests and everything. We don't. We just, election time, we just go for election. We just vote against the government. And then once they see the percentage change, they will take the message. And then they will try to do better. But that's Singapore. I know other countries is very, very different. Yeah. But when you come to like the Algerian community in France and whatnot, if they are struggling in life in France, they know that they are not going to be able to afford any housing, then I cannot be surprised that they just like, forget it, man, let's make this life like GTA.
This is not a new idea. This comes from the age of revolutions. Like there was an age of revolutions where France, Russia, America, and everywhere was having revolutions. And there was the guillotine chopping off the heads of the billionaires that were called aristocrats back then. They're called oligarchs now if they're in unfriendly countries, and they're called leaders of democracy if they're in the West. But this is not a new idea. The idea was encapsulated by the phrase, if people own a bit of the country, they're less inclined to burn it down, right? And this, I remember, this used to be understood. It used to be, if you didn't know this, you failed first university political science, right?
I believe that in America,
we live in a world where like no one talks about this. No one talks about the death of the middle class as though that is a recipe to burn down the world. It's like, kids can't afford houses. Oh, that's a bit sad for them. Never mind.
I remember reading
the end of the civilized world in a lot of ways. If we look at history as a lesson.
I remember that reading that United States originally the voting rights only goes to home owners, landowners. If you don't own land, you don't get. I think that's how United States started, right?
White men who own land.
No, that's not true, Dan. That's not true. It wasn't men. This is a myth of modern feminism, right? One of the massive lies of feminism is that the emancipation of men came before the emancipation of women. People don't know the laws that created emancipation of voting rights in the UK.
Wait, how many females signed all those declarations of independence and all that stuff? How many females were in that?
Are you assuming their gender?
We also
I am assuming.
Well, then you just shifted the goalposts then, right? What I'm saying is, it's not that you're a bad person, but you're factually wrong. If you were a landowner and a female, you had voting rights, right? It followed the land. It didn't follow gender. It's a myth. The same laws that gave the working class voting rights in England, passed in 1918, gave it to both men and women. These are facts. I'm not arguing, semantics or anything. It's just simply not true that voting passed from men to women. It passed
in the US,
from landowners to non-landowners. That was the historical reality. And there are plenty of examples in America too.
Many.
I just wanted to get back on track because I'm definitely not going to get into this social bullshit right now. I'll just hang back. But, you mentioned something really important is investment. Like when a new community, you go to a community, you don't go in there and start just tearing down the community and throwing whatever you want up. You know, there's people who invested their lives in this community, that there's businesses that were handed down from generation to generation to generation. But now you have an influx of people that have no investment, no roots to that community. So burning it down, other than it being maybe a food source for them, means really nothing. You know, in a way, I'm not saying good, bad, or blame. What I'm saying is that you can see the mentality of it, I feel.
I'm going to not talking about housing in Belgium because I'm going to be busy for 4 hours. It's a very, yeah, it's because also the war of Ukraine is very fucked up for the moment. I can say for myself, I'm 37 years old. I'm probably never going to be allowed anymore to buy something for myself here in Belgium. That's it. About France, and I can take Belgium also with it. You need to consider that these young kids and these guys, these immigrants, not even immigrants because they are born in the country, they still has a double nationality. And they feel more like if I speaking from Moroccan, the Moroccan going to feel more Moroccan compared to feeling Belgium or to feel French. So they are, it's a very complex thing, but they're feeling more that country they never been born in than the country where they are born in. That's why they're living in that culture and that group and these places where they are in a community all together, almost the same nationalities, and they're feeling together. So they are living in a clique.